Libra, this is your week ahead astrology forecast for the week of March. What were the dates? March 21st to the 27th, 2023. What we're going to do in this reading is go over the major planetary aspects and transits that are going to impact all of you. And then I'm going to break Libra down into 3 groups of 10 degrees each. So they're called decans, and that will make and that will help me be more specific and drill down into, at least for your consideration, what is going to impact you the greatest based on where your natal sun is located. So if your natal sun is located between 0 and 10 degrees Libra, you guys are Libra 1, because you're in the first, your sun is located in the first decan of Libra. If your natal sun is located between 10 and 20 degrees Libra, you are Libra 2s. And for those of you whose natal sun is located somewhere between 20 and 30 degrees Libra, you guys are Libra 3s. Decans are groups of 10, and each zodiac sign is a total of 30 degrees, and each decan is 10 degrees. And the reason why we break it down that way is to keep things as accurate as possible, because those of you who are born in the beginning of Libra season have about 25 to 29 degrees difference to those of you who are born at the very end of Libra season, and your natal suns will be interacting with other planets very differently. So we're going to start as broad as possible, and this week, since there's such major transits happening, I'm going to go out of the norm, because usually I just start with Venus. Venus is your ruling dignitary, and wherever it is going to impact something that's going on in your life. But this week we have a transit that is so major, it's 250 some years in the making, and that is the transit of Pluto. Pluto is moving from Capricorn into Aquarius, and that is going to happen on Thursday, March 23rd. Why is this so major? Because the placement of Pluto defines a generation. It defines a movement. It defines what the people born during that time end up becoming or doing, and how their actions impact all of humanity and really kind of mark the big breakthroughs and big tragedies of that era. It really defines an era. Now, the last time Pluto moved was back in 2008 when it entered Capricorn. And if you remember 2008, by 2009, we had a huge financial fallout. Everything just collapsed. And Pluto's movements are always like that. Like, if you go back to World War II started within like a couple of weeks of Pluto moving from Cancer into Leo. Way back when Pluto moved into Aquarius over 200 years ago, it was 1978. And if you kind of coordinate that, 1977 was when the American Revolution started, and around 1776 was when the American Revolution really started, and by 1783 it had finished and culminated in the United States becoming a separate nation. So 1778, there was huge revolutionary, rebellious kind of, we're not going to take it, people deserve more rights and authority over their government kind of understanding. And that's why the idea of America was so profound, philosophically, socially, and political. And it has been over 200 years, since 1778, when Pluto was in Aquarius. There's nobody alive that experiences their Pluto return, because Pluto takes over 200 years to go through the entire zodiac. So though you will experience your Saturn return and your Jupiter return, you will not experience your Pluto return. so we haven't really experienced Pluto in Aquarius since the time of the American Revolution. So the impact is going to be almost immediate. Pluto doesn't take a long time to actually make you feel its presence. And I have discussed this with all of you before. When a planet first enters the sign is when the waves are biggest and when the ripple effects impact. So in the next year to 2 years, we're really going to feel a huge tidal wave of change. And it usually comes with something really cataclysmic that nobody can ignore. So Aquarius is in a natural trine to Libra because it is a fellow air sign. It's because it's an air sign, it deals with communications and relationships between people. So whereas Libra is the house of partnerships, which focuses on the connection between intimate connections between two people, Aquarius focuses on the relationship between the community structure, right? The relationships at a community level. Fairness, righteousness, rebellion, revolution are all aspects that Aquarius covers. It also covers genius, that link between heaven and earth that enables us to understand or finally expand our society. And Uranus, which rules Aquarius itself, was discovered through mathematics. It was not discovered through actually how all the other planets were discovered, by actually seeing it in a telescope. It's the first planet that was discovered with just theory, right? Seeking things and looking for things through math, and not just by being able to quantifiably see it or find it there. So there are huge discoveries that could be made as Pluto enters Aquarius, but the discoveries will change the very foundation of human society. And this is an FYI, so this will impact all of you. But for those of you who are born in the very beginning of Libra season, and I'm talking the very beginning, so Virgo cusp, it would be those of you definitely who are born September Libras, but probably like September 21st, 22nd, 23rd. It's you guys that are going to be trine. Your natal sun is trine to Pluto's entrance into Aquarius. So there's huge ricochets that happen, but it will be harmonious. And it will be more gentle for you specifically because of the trine. It will work out or make a lot more sense to you. So you're in a really good position for the changes that are happening this week. You will, however, because there's another transit that's happening. It's not as big, but it is still a transit. Mars is transiting into Cancer. And you are in a natural square to this transition. So there could be some hiccups or combativeness that happens, because whenever your natal sun is square to Mars, there's a sense of impulsivity, there's a sense of almost pugilistic energy, a sense of fighting quicker or being angrier, being quicker to anger. So just be very aware of that. This could also be almost a sense of, if Pluto is trine to your natal suns, you could get cocky about the energy, this sense of certainty that makes you want to go for something right away. So just be very aware of your space and of your actual circumstances and of people around you. Not that their approval should matter when you make decisions, but the reception on the other end should matter, right? So feel out the crowd is what I'm saying to you, Libra ones. Take a breath, count to 10, and try to hold up that, try to quell being so reactionary is what I'm saying to you. And that will last all week. In fact, Pluto is going to be trine to your natal suns for a long time. So there's going to be many changes that are happening probably in the world at large that end up being aligned with stuff that'll inevitably help you out. Now, Libra 2, so those of you whose birthday is probably around, I'm going to say October 2nd to the 12th or the 1st to the 11th, somewhere around there, just depends. Check your natal chart. You know, is my sun located somewhere between 10 and 20 degrees Libra? This has been happening for a while. Your natal sun is in direct opposition to the Chiron-Jupiter conjunction, but this week it has Mercury there too. And so Mercury opposite your natal sun could very much feel like your own mini like Mercury retrograde. You could get unexpected news that just pops up. It doesn't have to be bad, but the fact that it's surprising, or somebody might need information from you, or a conversation that maybe you didn't even want to be a part of now comes up. So there is some sense of discomfort that will happen, but it is fated. You can't really control it. And considering Mercury is going to be conjunct Jupiter as well as Chiron, there is what I wrote down. You will get a game-changing news that has to do with a situation that put you through a lot, that made you suffer or made you feel a lot of pain. So it is very #complicated, but now it's time for a difference. It's time for a change, and it's time for growth. You guys are also going to be quincunx, which is it's a more difficult relationship. It's kind of like stubborn energy. It's challenging energy to Uranus conjunct Venus. So that's happening in Taurus. And Venus is your ruling dignitary. We didn't even talk about her. I got to go back and talk about her. Venus is in Taurus all this week. It's in mostly Decant 1 of Taurus, but it's moving into Decant 2, where she is going to conjunct Uranus by the end of this week. So Venus is going to impact all of you, no matter what decant you're in. It's your ruling dignitary. And so in Taurus, she's hyper-focused on finances. So if you're finding that you have some sort of a struggle, especially Libra 2s, whose natal sun is going to be quincunx Venus as she conjuncts Uranus, there could be some financial surprises that kind of stir up the pot for you. That doesn't have to be bad. It could be very good, but it will agitate the waters of your otherwise peaceful life, FYI, especially Libra 2s. And Libra 3s, your natal suns are actually in opposition to the North Node, or those who are born very, very close to, say, Scorpio season, so at the very end of Libra. It's you guys whose natal sun is in opposition, not direct, but within a 5-degree opposition of the North Node. Now, why is that so impactful now? Because Pluto is square to both the nodes. And so this change or shift that happens in the world is going to push you into making an uncomfortable shift in your own life. Whether you like it or not, here it comes. But understand, it doesn't have to be bad. It just, the more you go with it and the more you accept it, the more it could impact you in a positive way. You guys are blessed with a trine to Mars. So as Mars enters into Libra, it will especially be harmonious. Whatever happens, those changes, being able to take action or do things or roll with the punches as it enters Cancer, that will really help you out. So even though being in opposition to the North Node as it's square to Pluto, as it changes this next couple of weeks, it'll impact you the most in terms of the tide that pushes you more towards your discomfort zone or just your life changing and maturing. There is that sense of, at least this week, the trine to Mars, and that will happen on Saturday. So by Saturday of this week, Libra 3s, there is at least a trine between your sun and Mars. So it's almost like you have confidence and certainty in the movement or the way you're being pushed. So that could really help you out in a lot of ways. So please feel free. Hold on, Venus. So I wrote down a lot of these. Venus, okay, on Friday, Venus is going to be, by Friday, Venus will be conjunct to Uranus, but on Friday, the moon will also be a part of that. So on Friday, it could be a pretty emotional day for you, especially around financial changes or relationship changes that kind of bring almost a the moon could be something that you were delusional about. You could be shaken awake, or something like psychic, like a connectivity that you have felt. This will be brought or forced to the surface. Something could just really surprise you that's been hidden for a while, or just hidden feelings, like feelings that you didn't expect to have, you know, connections that you didn't expect to feel suddenly coming up and having a shocking impact on your life. And by shocking, it's just like surprising. So Uranus loves to not be predicted, outside of the box, weird, strange, unusual feelings that you didn't expect to feel. It won't last for long. It'll be like Friday into Saturday, but you will feel the sense of, what is this? Why am I feeling these things or thinking these thoughts? It is because the moon is in conjunction with Venus, in conjunction to Uranus. FYI. And that Venus-Uranus conjunction will actually last through next week. So it'll actually be in perfect conjunction toward the middle of next week. So that's when Venus will really start to shake things up. But that connection to the moon, especially for you guys who are, especially for Venus 2s, Libra 2s who are in quincunx to the whole to Uranus, this weird strangeness is going to bring up feelings, weird, strange, even romantic proclivities that you may not have expected and can't really understand. It may pass within that day over Friday. I love you guys so much. Please leave your comments below. I would love to know how this is impacting you. Give this video a big thumbs up, share it on your social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this content. It comes out every single week on Tuesday, so you can get right to it. And if you are a subscriber to this channel, you are able to join in the live chats that I have most days of this week about astrology, a daily astrology live chat here on Astrology Motivation. So I hope you can join, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and hopefully I will see you guys over on Born Without Boundaries Tarot, where your week ahead tarot card reading is, and we'll see if we can get into more information. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the videos.